Jack Nicholson, at the age of 88, comes clean about his relationship with Robin Williams. Joseph Nicholson, better known as Jack Nicholson, came into this world in Neptune City, New Jersey on April 22, 1937. His childhood was impacted by peculiar circumstances from the start, as he was brought up thinking that his grandma was his biological mother and that he was actually her sister's son, something he didn't find out about till he was well into maturity. Many have said that this early turn in his life story sounds like it came from a Hollywood script, and it did, hinting at the nuance and complexity that Nicholson would later bring to his cinematic roles. Nicholson was born into a working-class family but followed his lifelong passion for acting after developing an early interest in performance and storytelling. It was not a smooth or glamorous ride for him to get into Hollywood. He started off as a gopher for MGM's animation studio before easing into acting parts, frequently battling for years before finally breaking through. In the late 1950s, Nicholson got his start in the industry playing supporting roles in Roger Corman's B-flicks. Even though he didn't become famous overnight from these parts, he was able to hone his skills and improve his approach, and prove his tenacity in a field where steady progress is more important than quick fame. His first Oscar nomination came in 1969 for his portrayal of the inebriated lawyer George Hanson in the film Easy Rider, which was his breakout role. He shot to fame after landing the part, which set in motion a series of outstanding acting that would shape the film industry over the subsequent 40 years. As the 1970s progressed, Nicholson solidified his status as a formidable performer. His performance in 1970's Five Easy Pieces demonstrated his remarkable talent for playing complicated, disillusioned people who were battling issues of identity and isolation. He delivered an emotionally charged performance in 1973's The Last Detail that was funny and heartbreaking all at the same time. He won his first Oscar for Best Actor in 1975 for his role as Randall McMurphy in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is now considered one of the greatest performances of all time. The character of McMurphy, played by Nicholson, was a defiant one who stood up to the tyrannical Nurse Ratched, the counterculture vibe of the 70s, and cemented his place in pop culture. Another seminal role came in the 80s with Stanley Kubrick's spine-tingling horror classic, The Shining. Jack Torrance, a writer spiraling into madness, was played by Nicholson in a horrifying yet compelling performance that established a permanent fixture in popular culture. Lines like, "Here's Johnny" have resounded for years, attesting to Nicholson's ability to inject films with irreplaceable energy. In 1983, he won another Oscar for his performance as the endearing former astronaut Garrett Breedlove, revealing his softer side. He was one of the most multi-talented performers of his day because of his ability to convincingly portray both lunacy and kindness. Another watershed moment came with the 1989 Batman film, in which Nicholson portrayed the Joker. His menacing yet light-hearted performance was larger than life, won over viewers all around the globe, and revolutionized the way comic book villains are portrayed in film. Many other actors were inspired by Nicholson's portrayal of the Joker and went on to play the character. His remarkable talent for imbuing a single figure with charm, terror, and humor shone once again the tremendous variety in his artistic endeavors. Throughout the aughts and into the new millennium, Nicholson kept turning up stunning performances. His performance as Colonel Nathan R. Jessup in the 1992 film A Few Good Men provided cinema with a memorable line, "Not at all deal with the reality." His unparalleled command of the screen was on full display in the role he played. In 1996, Nicholson showed his flexibility in the satirical science fiction comedy Mars Attacks, in which he frightened and amused viewers, 1992's Hawa, in which he fully became the persona of infamous labor leader Jimmy Hoffa, and another film, Main Trouble, which showcased his talent for bringing multi-layered characters to life. Many reviewers consider Jack Nicholson's later years to be his most fruitful. He shocked everyone all over again in 1997, with his stunning turn opposite Helen Hunt in the love drama Ass, directed by James L. Brooks. Melvin U.D. Dahl, portrayed by Nicholson, is a misanthropic, OCD novelist whose obstinate quirks and stinging humor eventually give way to sympathetic moments. Not only did his subtle portrayal, which skillfully blended emotion with humor, enthrall spectators, but it also earned him an Academy Award for Best Actor. This demonstrated that Nicholson could still reinvent himself and shock the world, even after a long career. Even when the new century ushered in, Nicholson kept up his impressive, remarkable durability and longevity. In the 2002 tragic comedy about Schmidt, he played the part of Warren Schmidt, a recently retired widower dealing with the loneliness of old age. In the role, he shed his signature charisma. Reviewers unanimously agreed that it was one of the quietest and most moving of his career, demonstrating that Nicholson was equally at home in dramatic over-the-top parts and more subdued, emotionally wrenching narratives. His comedic genius was on full display the following year, in 2003, when he collaborated with Adam Sandler in the smash blockbuster Anger Management. As portrayed by Nicholson, the unconventional, wild-eyed psychiatrist Dr. Buddy Ryle added an unanticipated burst of energy to the picture which made viewers chuckle and further solidified Ryle's status as an actor capable of dominating any genre. However, Nicholson had more work to do. Returning to his sinister side in 2006, he played the terrifying part playing the role of Frank Costello, an obnoxious Irish crime lord in Martin Scorsese's documentary The Departed. Nicholson, who co-starred with A-list actors Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio, made an impression as one of the most iconic villains of recent cinema with his menacing unpredictableness. His performance was so moving and evocative that it garnered him a Golden Globe nomination, reassuring everyone in the industry of his place among the all-time greats. Nicholson shocked viewers once again the next year, but with a warmer and more introspective performance. He was in the 2007 film The Bucket List, starring Morgan Freeman, is an emotionally wrenching dramedy about two men with terminal illnesses who embark on a world tour to accomplish their desires before they pass away. By playing the emotionally distant but rich Edward Cole, Nicholson was able to explore themes of death, friendship, and salvation while maintaining a steady performance, eloquence, and heartfelt expression. The film's message of embracing life to the fullest inspired millions and solidified Nicholson's position as an actor who could captivate audiences of all ages, making it a cultural touchstone. The public has long been captivated by Jack Nicholson's private life, nearly to the same extent as the acting career he became famous for. In 1962, he wed actress Sandra Knight, his sole marriage. Nicholson was still in the early stages of his Hollywood career when this happened. Although Knight became famous for her roles in films like Frankenstein's Daughter 1958, despite being defined by the vivacity and glitz of youth as experienced in Hollywood, will eventually fade. The pair decided to split up after 6 years of marriage and filed for a formal divorce in 1968. Jennifer Nicholson was born to them in 1963, even though their marriage did not last. Jennifer was very unknown as a child, although she later became a celebrity after she did it on her own terms, launching a career in fashion design. Despite the dissolution of his marriage to Sandra Knight, Nicholson continued to be a loving father figure to his daughter. Even though Jack Nicholson never wed again after his divorce, he became famous for a string of high-profile and frequently troubled relationships that thrust him into the limelight. Susan Anpatch, an actress he met in the early 1970s, was one of his early and well-reported relationships. Reflecting Nicholson's eccentric and free-spirited lifestyle of the time, their connection was intricate and intense. Despite the fact that they broke up and SPAC later claimed Nicholson was the biological father of her 1970-born son Caleb Goddard, their romance did not last. Years of tension and suspicion ensued because Nicholson did not publicly recognize Caleb as his child, adding to the mystique surrounding his private life. His relationship with actress Angelica Houston, the daughter of renowned filmmaker John Huston, may have been the most publicized and long-lasting of Nicholson's relationships. They were romantically involved for approximately 17 years, starting in 1973. While they were together, they became one of the most talked-about couples in Hollywood. Known for their unpredictable interpersonal dynamics despite widespread admiration for their charisma and skill, Nicholson was characterized by Huston as elusive, captivating, unpredictable, and fascinating. Despite enduring several storms, their love affair came to a close in sadness for Huston as a result of Nicholson's unfaithfulness becoming unbearable. Huston has been very forthright about the profound impact Nicholson had on her life, and the two continued to hold each other in high regard and fondness long after their breakup. A romance between Nicholson and Danish model Winnie also occurred in the 1980s, Howman and Associates. Their relationship was notable in Nicholson's personal life since it produced a daughter, Honey Howman, although it was less scrutinized by the public than his affair with Huston. Honey spent much of her childhood in Denmark, far from the spotlight, where she lived with her mother. Whirlwind of Nicholson's universe. Although Nicholson's family was unconventional, he never shied away from his role as a parent and stayed in touch with Honey all her life. Actress Rebecca Broussard was Nicholson's second high-profile lover by 1989. A fresh chapter was begun by their relationship, being one of his most enduring and dedicated collaborations. It held special significance for him. During their 5 years of marriage, Nicholson and Broussard had a daughter, Lorraine, in 1990, and a son, Raymond, in 1992. During this period, Nicholson was a doting dad. Unlike in some of his previous partnerships, photos of him playing with his kids abound. In the end, Lorraine decided to become an actress and has since appeared in films such as Soul Surfer 2011, while Raymond followed in his family's artistic footsteps by becoming an actor as well. The dedication to co-parenting their children by Nicholson and Broussard did not waver even after the termination of their romantic relationship in 1994. Their offspring, which spoke volumes about the depth of their love and bond. In the later part of the 1990s, when actress Lara Flynn Boyle was becoming famous for her work on Twin Peaks and other series, rumors began circulating that she was romantically involved with Nicholson. Despite its brief duration, their romance was notable for two on account of the age gap between them and Nicholson's image as a Hollywood hedonist. According to rumors, their passionate romance didn't last more than a few years. Nonetheless, it solidified Nicholson's reputation as a man whose name was synonymous with beautiful ladies even in his middle years. Maintained her allure as a socialite in Hollywood. Jack Nicholson, now 88 years old, has the kind of perspective on his life's work and friendships that comes with reflection and age. Nicholson remained one of Hollywood's most mysterious characters for a long time, wit, sharpness, and unpredictability at all times, both when displayed on and when not. But he broke his guard in a recent private discussion, talking at length about his late friend Robin Williams. His remarks were heavy with both adoration and sadness, and they gave Williams' admirers a glimpse into the profound reverence one great held for different one. Nicholson confessed, perhaps weighing his words carefully, that Robin was like lightning in a bottle. His brilliant directions were always a mystery, but you could never predict them. After establishing a reputation for herself through intense and pinpoint performances, Nicholson found that Williams personified a level of creative independence that few could achieve. They were social and professional acquaintances for many years in Hollywood, and their paths intersected often. Williams had the ability to alter the vibe of any given space, which Nicholson noted. A whole room may be captivated by his charisma alone. In the blink of an eye, people can shift from profound quiet to uncontrollable laughter, according to Nicholson. That kind of unfiltered brilliance will never be seen again, in my opinion. Going even farther, Nicholson acknowledged that Williams' comedic persona was just one facet of his character. Robin was one of the most entertaining people saw, but he was also one of the most gentlemen I've ever encountered. He had strong feelings, perhaps even strong emotions at times. That was his strength and his weakness. By stating this, Nicholson was alluding to the paradox that was Williams, his extraordinary talent for making other people happy while secretly battling his personal struggles. Even when others failed to notice Williams' sensitivity, Nicholson admitted that he frequently did. Nicholson said, even when he was making you laugh until your stomach hurt, there was a tenderness in him and you could see it in his eyes. The two performers were distinct in many ways. Williams, with his limitless vitality and improvisatory brilliance, and Nicholson with his famous grin and frequently frightening screen presence. Their relationship was based on mutual respect. Nevertheless, Nicholson said that their time together was filled with genuine sincerity and humor. He would find a quiet place to sit, stare you down, and listen. One of the most unusual qualities in this field is how attentively Robin listened. Softly, Nicholson spoke. The Hollywood games didn't interest him. People were important to him. The sadness of Williams' 2014 loss was also something that Nicholson discussed. This was a devastating setback for fans all throughout the world and Hollywood. Nicholson mused, his voice quivering with emotion, on how Robin's departure was like a global power outage. When I first heard the news, I sat there in disbelief. The thought of losing someone who brought so much joy seemed inconceivable. The loss of William had made him realize how vulnerable even the strongest souls are, he conceded. These folks seem colossal to us, yet they are actually just like the rest of us, human. In closing his remarks, Nicholson shared the profound impact that Williams had on him, emphasizing that being human can be challenging at times. Robin has a spirit that was generous. Whether he was performing, acting, or just plain hanging out, he always gave it his all, chatting with a pal. That is the one thing I will never let go of. His sense of humor was more than just comical. What a remarkable man. By being so forthright about his friend, Nicholson hoped to do tribute to a man whose humanity and talent made an unforgettable impression on audiences everywhere. On his contemporaries as well. Jack Nicholson's warm recollections of Robin Williams serve as a constant reminder of the unique bond that existed between the two Hollywood icons as he nears the end of his own extraordinary life and career. Moreover, by coming clean about his pal, Nicholson let the world observe not both the breadth and depth of Williams' artistic ability and the influence he had on individuals who were lucky enough to call him a friend.